This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search from my site. I'm with Paula Brown.
Hello, everybody. We're here at the library today.
We got a modified start this time. We are inviting strangers via link. Our previous practice was to invite people through Paula's Facebook profile who she knows in a life sense, in a traditional sense. But now we've been on Twitter. We got people who seem to know something about voodoo. At least their Twitter profiles indicate they know more about voodoo than other people.
Excuse me, Tom. I have to get it off the clipboard. You said.
Just Control V.
Oh, where is that?
Control and the letter V. There you go.
Oh, okay.
And that's a generic picture. That just is what Google.
Right.
And it's not the same. It
changes. Yeah.
So Paul is in the
now.
process of inviting friends. I'm going to invite strangers. Well, when we invite strangers, we want the broadcast to be open and be live. So for the first 15 minutes, we're just going to kind of chat, just so if any of these strangers click on the link, we want it to be live. We also want it not to be silent. So I'm not claiming that in the other part of the broadcast we say anything awesome, but I am claiming it's highly unlikely we're going to say anything awesome during this first 15 minutes. Are you going to say anything awesome, Paula?
I don't think so.
I don't think so? This is
We're trying to get it together.
I'm going to... this is a message for Jennifer. Jennifer, I'm going to use this opportunity to send you an email. Jennifer, as you know, your customer service for Griffin. I have your device right here. Mike. I am promising with this voice, with this speech, to do some additional testing on this. This is your device. It is not broken, not working, as you know. And so I am not using it. We are using a built-in mic. We are in ideal audio conditions. We are in a soundproof room, a very expensive professional-grade soundproof room, and we're using built-in mics from the laptop. Thank you for listening, Jennifer. I have more audio testing to come. All right, we're back on your. We're back.
So I'm ready to hit it. I invited I tagged a few people.
Okay, so you know what? Just watch me do this.
Okay.
Because I've shown you how to do this in a text file.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Paula, tag me to post. I know. Okay, so this is a spreadsheet version of the same thing.
Right.
So I just did Control-C.
Right.
And now I'm switching to, that's not where I want to switch. I want to switch to here. And then I click once. This is what I was telling you. Remember when I showed you this? And you said, well, Tom, why do I need to do all that?
Right.
For efficiency. So with that, you know which digital file I'm using, right? That's the screen capture from your...
Right. How did you do that? That was so excellent.
That's a Harry Potter trick.
Oh.
It's a screen grab followed by... I'll show you right here. Screen grab followed... I can show you in detail. See, Google Drawings.
Okay.
I've messed with a lot of different drawing programs and recently discovered Google Drawing. It's like Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
Very simple. With a little bit more capabilities. So I'm doing Alt-Tab. That gets me back and forth between the spreadsheet and Twitter. So this is my next tweet, Control-C.
Right.
And then I click on Tweet. And it didn't work, so I click on it again. Control-V to paste. It already says Brooklyn.
Right.
And I didn't set that, by the way. Somehow it knew that, and it rarely knows. From my kind of, New Jersey, New York, it rarely knows where I am. But in this case, it does. So that's, I'm about a third of the way. So now I go back to my spreadsheet, watch this with my arrows. Down here, I get the next three, plus the voodoo and link, and Control-C. And now we go back here, Control-V. I get my picture. Again, all that is the same thing anyone would see when they view your Facebook post, but I did a screen grab and then I went into Google Drawing and cropped it. and I put some white space around it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not kidding you, Paula. It is not advanced. It's a 5-minute lesson. The program is really that easy. Google really, put some advanced features in it, but did it without making it seem advanced. It seems very crude. It's not like Adobe, or if you ever need any of those professionals. I get in there and I just can't. I'm like, I just want to crop this picture. How do I do it? And I just get frustrated.
Yeah.
But Google Drawing seems very straightforward. So again, I just copy, and then Alt-Tab gets me to my other window. I click on tweet. So you see what I mean? I'm doing 3 mentions per tweet, and I'm doing each tweet is only like 5 clicks, and it includes a digital. It includes a JPEG. So again, I go back to the spreadsheet. So each time I go to the spreadsheet, I'm getting a new tweet. Tab to the other. Now, Paula, I am not fishing for a compliment here, although it sounds that I am. When you do this in the privacy of your home, Paula, be honest with me, you are slower, right? Okay, I'm going to show you how to speed it up. Because what I'm doing is really simple, but I know I've got some shortcut things that you may not know. And look, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Okay. And so if we have any listeners, we want to keep some chatter going. Paula and I watch the top 10. So listeners, if you have a few clicks, a few moments, Google Allen Iverson highlights. There's a promoted site, promoted YouTube video. It is almost out of the question that you would find any other video, because it is pegged the first hit, and it is a well-edited career highlights of Allen Iverson, and it's just awesome. And Allen Iverson was trending last night, and I don't really know why. It has something to do with the Hall of Fame.
Well,
I think. And
he was magnificent when he was playing.
Yeah.
He very, he would be deserving of a nomination.
And as I
tried to play him earlier.
Paula, he has a boyish charm, and Paula does not deny that.
Yeah, all right. Everybody should get their due. Everybody should be recognized for what they do.
And Hannah and I got inspired by this
cellular
last night, and we watched a 55-minute documentary about Allen Iverson, and it really tells a nice, intimate story about a person and his extraordinary athletic ability and his struggle with his public image.
Right, yeah.
And,
it's a bad boy of basketball, one of them, yeah.
So I'm now closing this. So we sent our tweets.
Yeah, we did.
You did your invitations.
Yeah.
And I'm going to close this. And now
should I sign off?
I'm going to switch it back. You can just leave it. Just leave it.
Leave it.
We're really only using yours for a microphone. So I'm switching back to mine.
I think I'll sign out of
Yes, I know that.
Facebook.
So let me just see what else is open. I'm going to leave Gmail open for now. Let's leave that open. And Hangouts, we leave that open. See, why? You are presenting to everyone. You're not, though. I'm presenting to everyone. Presenting. There we go. Yeah. See, now we're there.
Okay.
So this webcam is doing nothing.
Okay.
See, I just covered it. So we got your mic, we've got that webcam.
Right.
So we kind of put this between us, and just so we recognize this is only a microphone. I'm going to turn the.
Okay, good. All right.
So that's not a distraction. That's just a mic. Here's our webcam.
Right.
You're presenting to everyone, and this will be interesting. We'll see how this goes. I don't have a headset on. So I'm Tom Duty. This is Paula Brown.
Yes.
Still.
Barely, but we're here today.
So we do a little chatter warm-up, which we kind of did, but it was a little too busy. So let's do a lighter one, and I'm going to give you the choice. Do you want to do Super Bowl halftime show or Hillary Clinton?
We can do the Super Bowl halftime show.
All right. So let me see if I can find my text. Oops. I wrote something in reaction to the Super Bowl halftime show. That's not true. That's not true. What was it?
Right. Yeah.
It was not the halftime show. It was
Lady Gaga singing the national anthem.
There we go. So there was also significant controversy about the halftime show, but that's why I misspoke.
There was a lot of stuff about the halftime show.
So
this is Tom Duty, middle-aged.
Oops. It wasn't intentional. So here's some of my writing about that iMic. That's the thing that I'm trying to get fixed. Okay. Where is private celebration gift for an iMic again? There we go. So I got to look at this again. I start out by saying Lady Gaga's national anthem last night. So obviously I wrote this the day after, and I think Paul and I talked sort of by chance on a different subject.
Right.
And at the end, I kind of like to end phone calls with sort of just more neutral stuff, just sort of kind of fun stuff, and that's what I thought this was. And as a writer, I try to leverage pop items that people have a reaction to and attempt to provoke a reaction. And Paula fell in the trap. And I don't know what my readers are thinking when they write, but I know that if any of them do what Paula did, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. So I'll explain more in a minute. Lady Gaga's national anthem last night is being compared with Whitney Houston's 1991 Tampa Bay, Florida. And as soon as I hit that, I could hear Paula trying to restrain herself politely when she couldn't. That didn't go over well, and that's exactly what I was trying to do. I'm one of many who feel, so I'm not going to read this whole thing. I go on, this is called Gaga, Whitney, Eric Gardner, Guns. Again, a title, it's kind of sensationalized, trying to provoke a reaction. And what I go on to say is that having an emotional reaction to these events, and those emotional reactions tend to align with political associations, like conservative or liberal, and certainly having an emotional reaction to the plight and the death and the murder of Eric Gardner certainly feels liberal. Conservatives are allowed to feel for Eric also. On that video, we heard him take his last breath. It's a horrifying video. And a conservative can have that emotional reaction and continue to be conservative. So I think that conservatives harness the popularity of certain topics like guns. And they, because they're conservative and because this increases the numbers, you got more conservatives who also want less restrictions on guns, and in general you got liberals who want more restrictions on guns. And you look at Eric Gardner, and you got, again, liberals who are liberal just because they think, wow, I feel more naturally liberal political because I had an emotional reaction to Eric Gardner. That's a human reaction, and people can be productive, contributing to the government, contributing to politics, basically exercising their responsibility as an American, feeling emotional about watching Eric Gardner take his last breath, and yet be conservative. That emotional reaction doesn't dictate someone's emotional political association, and that's what and so basically Paula, as I said, she fell in the trap because she had a reaction to Lady Gaga, she had a reaction to the very famous 1984.
Was it?
1991.
No, 1991.
Yeah. I even knew where it was.
Tampa.
Tampa.
Tampa Bay, Florida.
In Tampa. And it is inarguably, even with Gaga's getting praise, it is inarguably the best singing of the national anthem I think this country's ever heard. Certainly has ever heard in a big event.
Right.
And so anyways, Paula fell into the trap. Say more, Paula.
Right. Why compare it? Why can't it just be a good Lady Gaga presentation? Why are we having to compare her to Whitney Houston?
Right.
And you say, well, that's what we do. We make comparisons to the best,
Right. And
I think, I really didn't hear the whole thing, but what I heard was good. My son said it was excellent. It was an excellent Lady Gaga, but Whitney is untouchable.
Right.
That's my own personal opinion, But, I mean, everybody can shine.
All right. So let me take your point and go to Allen Iverson.
Okay.
Because in the documentary, I will repeat, Paula and I just watched top 10 highlight. Allen Iverson highlights in Google will get you to the same top 10.
Right.
And in number one, they of course go 10, 9, 8, 7. In number one, he faces off against Michael Jordan.
Right.
And just a legendary NBA moment.
Right.
So Hannah and I, my wife Hannah and I, were inspired by this last night, and we watched this documentary. And in the documentary, it turns out that his public image went negative early, like way before his fashion, his hairstyles, his tattoos, and his fashion. Way before that, he was still kind of a clean-cut young black kid.
Right.
Wore his afro kind of short in a, I won't say the God-given way because it was cut short, and if it was in a God-given way, it would be big like Dr. J used to do. So it wasn't that way. It was groomed and he looked like everyone else on the court. And as we know, with those armbands that he used to wear and the cornrows and he seemed to wear his uniform different. By the time you see him later in his career, he was unquestionably Allen Iverson, just at a glance of the screen.
Right.
So anyways, this was in the early part before his fashion started getting blamed for his negative public image. And he allegedly got into the NBA after cutting his time short in Georgetown, and he mouthed off and said he could take Michael Jordan.
Right.
You know this?
No, I don't know this. I'm just agreeing with you.
Yeah. So anyways, here's my point.
Right.
The documentary goes on to say any challenge of Michael Jordan is seen as a challenge to the heart of the American people. In other words, in that context, Michael Jordan is Whitney Houston.
Right.
Say more. Why are you accepting that so fast?
Because he is the greatest of all time. The greatest basketball player of all time.
Don't tell Dr. J. Come on. Really? Don't tell Dr. J that.
That's how I feel.
Dr. J was the first one that I saw do this extraordinary ballet, and there's no question about Michael Jordan was better.
Right.
But I feel the same way. How can you be better than Dr. J?
Right.
Well, you can't, and Michael was.
Right.
But I think to summarize this, Paula said, "Wait a minute, why? I mean, especially with Whitney's premature, tragic death. God, the woman, this is such a tragedy. And now we're going to compare Lady Gaga to this isn't right. I can't take it. Am I right?
Right.
It's absolutely true.
Right.
And it's
but
it's human nature.
Yeah, to be comparing and comparisons and all of that. I guess so.
So the comparison is fair, but to say Gaga was better, that's stepping over the line.
To say she was, I don't. It's like comparing apples to oranges. I just have.
They're not apples and oranges. It's the Super Bowl Star Spangled Banner sung by an American. These are apples and apples. Come on, Paula. Come on. So anyways, this is exactly the kind of stuff I try to do with my writing. This is some of the fun that we had this week. So that gets us started. I'm going to switch into voodoo talk, and I'm going to attempt. You know that little who's the friend? I friended her. You friended her.
Oh, Christina.
Christina.
Right.
In one of her comments, I have not clicked through her profile, so I know nothing more other than she's a Caucasian woman, younger than both of us.
Yes.
And I assume she is. I sort of think she's local. Is she
No,
in New York?
she's in Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and she literally clicked on you and clicked, and she kind of got attracted to voodoo talk for whatever reason.
No, we are. She's my customer on Listia, a bidding site. She likes the black soap. That's where I met her on Listia. Then I asked her, did she have a Facebook page, and that's how we got connected on Facebook.
So then she did Facebook. So okay,
Right.
listeners, this person did what no one else has done.
Mm-hmm.
Commented and say, I tried to listen.
Yeah,
All
right. Unique.
So, listeners, please, as a blogger, as a video blogger, YouTube, I have data that tells me what people are clicking on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't know who they are, and I don't know why they're clicking, but I do see patterns. I see some things are more popular than others.
Right.
And I knew immediately that Voodoo Talk was getting clicks, not a lot of them. You know, we don't have keywords that are kicking in for us. We don't have high rankings in Google. We're not getting into the thousands.
Okay.
But in total, we're in the triple digits. We're just not in the 4 digits yet. But yet, the clicks that we do get listen for a remarkably long period of time.
Right.
Okay, so we're getting and keeping attention, and we say what I'm going to say over and over again. We are soliciting engagement.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We want people to just stop. We don't want them to stop clicking. We want them to click and listen, but we want them to come out in a more traditional sense, in name and in voice. And I think you're in the same place as I am on this.
Yes.
I am perfectly happy someone not having their webcam on and not identifying themselves by any other name than they can be anonymous.
Mm-hmm.
They could be a man called Sue. That works for me. They could not have their webcam on and contribute in a dialogue way. I do not. Anonymous is welcome. We are trying to engage the emotion and intellect of people who hear Paula's story and engage with us.
Right.
Because here's a secret that is absolutely not a secret. I am sort of like this therapist in this role, friend, quote, voodoo therapist, and I am not qualified as a therapist. Am I qualified as a friend? You don't have to ask that. That was not meant to be answered.
That was rhetorical. Right?
So I am not qualified as what I'm doing in voodoo. So all I'm trying to do is sort of manage this process that allows other people to come forward.
Right.
In between, we're about 2 months now since the other one, right?
Yeah, about 2 months.
So we're about 2 months from the most recent Voodoo Talk, and in that 2 months, we have engaged about 40 mentions on Twitter. So we have gotten Voodoo Talk into the mouse range of 40 different Twitter profiles.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this is really nice. We start this process. Let's just talk about it.
Okay.
Paula did some videos on her own, and somehow it felt like she advanced to solving this voodoo spell that was overstated. It didn't feel like it solved it, but it helped you feel better about
talking about it.
Yeah.
Putting
so
it out
in no
there.
way were the grips released,
Right. No.
but yet you somehow thought this is more manageable.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we start Voodoo Talk, and now all of a sudden it's kind of the same thing Paula was doing, but now she's got someone sitting with her,
right.
You know, visibly and physically supportive, dialoguing in a conversation by name and voice, and all of a sudden Paula says, it's even a little bit better yet.
Right. Right.
Again, the release of this voodoo spell has not been released, and in fact, in some ways, it was a backslide, right?
Right. Exactly.
Say more about that.
Pain and degradation accelerated, you know, as I move forward, you know. I mean, a lot of pain, a lot of ugliness, unable to move, perpetual pain. I mean, a lot of blood. I talked about that in one of my videos that I did on my own, bleeding from the uterus and all of this ugly voodoo spells and voodoo pains, really weird stuff, so that has accelerated, that has picked up.
Can I ask you something in private? It's bleeding from the uterus. You shouldn't be bleeding from the uterus, right?
Right. I'm over that.
I'm over that. So I'm going to pick one word, pain.
Okay. All right.
So again, this chronology, Paula has been suffering the pain of this voodoo spell for decades.
Well, possibly. It has been going on for decades, but this pain thing has just been in the last maybe couple of years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me take the word pain out of it. Paula has been experiencing the negative effects of this voodoo spell for decades.
Right.
Her search for ways to get better bring you into this, which I believe was a milestone. You've confirmed it, this idea that you did your own voodoo. You did your own, hey, I'm talking to the world who's ever listening. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to create a YouTube video, and I'm going to put it out there, and that helped you feel better.
Right.
In some ways. You engage me, and somehow you're getting like some pluses masked with some minuses. You got additional force put on you by this voodoo spell, but yet somehow you feel empowered.
Well, always when you act to do, you empower. You empower yourself to make a change. Even though you're going to meet resistance, the fact that you are standing up for yourself, it comes with some type of relief.
Okay. So I'm going to try this. Listeners, here's what, let's do this like we're Super Bowl commentators. Remember Howard Cosell?
Right, yeah, I do.
I don't. So Paula, think about what she's saying. This idea of a public declaration of what's happening to her, the suffering in private, in silence, is just debilitating, can be debilitating. You have not been debilitated.
No.
I mean, in your life, you are active in your life.
Yes,
you
I
have
am.
friends. You are a mother. You had a husband. You transitioned out of that. You've got a social life. You've got a professional life. You've got stuff happening. So when I say debilitated, I don't mean you're infirmed.
Okay. All right.
So, but yet it is a trouble.
Well, there's always been a thing overshadowing.
Right. So now Paula takes a couple of steps, one by herself. I offer my help. He, accepts. And now, listeners, please think of what Paula's saying. Wow, now we're doing voodoo talk, and now she's using words like pain and blood. Listeners, out in our audience, raise your hand if you think that's good. Pain and blood, that's bad.
Yeah.
But yet, she's saying, no, let's keep going, because the positive part is a struggle, but yet most of the time counteracting the disruptive part of doing something different.
It. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely unimaginable. So as I said humbly at the beginning of this thing, I am not qualified to reconcile that stuff. Hey, don't see that coming.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Paula's like saying, blood, pain, let's keep going. She's not a masochist.
Right.
And yet, here we are. So what's the next step? In the 2 months, we not only want to engage people, but we've also have this targeted effort to engage specific people.
Right.
Now, I did not study those profiles that had liked or retweeted or whatever, but do you want to say something directly to...
Well, I don't know exactly, who, but Yoruba priests, Yoruba priestesses, Santeria people.
But you had, you put a couple of profiles in front of me and I forgot.
Yeah, I had email. I don't know it by heart. I don't know it by heart.
Can you say anything like where they were or anything?
Well, the one was in Nigeria,
Okay.
and
So
mostly,
here, Paula found 40 profiles. One of them is a man in Nigeria. A man?
yeah,
Yeah.
man,
A
yeah.
man in Nigeria, and he
asked
liked,
me,
retweeted.
yeah.
He did something to say, I'm
Right.
out here and I'm living.
Right.
And so to you, Mr. Nigeria, we can,
Mm-hmm.
say that this message is in there, and we'll find his profile and speak to him directly. But anyways, engage with us. Who's the other one?
Well, a lot of people in Brooklyn. A lot of botanicas.
Yeah, but nobody's done anything. Nobody's liked. You only had 2 that liked or retweeted or
Right,
something.
and this gentleman in Nigeria wanted to know, how do I know you? He wanted to know, how did I know him? I just told him I thought that, because of your profile, maybe you could help.
Yeah,
It wasn't a deep.
Think about this, Paula. You're on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know you?
Yeah, why would he ask that?
Well, because I get that all the time. This, this idea that soliciting strangers online triggers negative, and when it triggers positive, there's this mystery of how do I know you? That is an indication that our online lives are doing this.
Mm-hmm.
They're just amiss, and all of a sudden that one is targeted,
Mm-hmm.
and that guy says, oh, I must know you.
Right.
Because this personal reach doesn't happen online.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't it? Because people don't do what you did.
Right.
And
right.
it's to
They
me,
don't
it's a
reach out like
step
that,
to
yeah.
bring the depth out of online relationships,
Mm-hmm.
like has happened with Christina.
Right. Right.
So Christina, and what's happened with you and I.
Yeah. Right.
So anyways, listeners, that's what we're trying to do. Again, I humbly say I've done something good for Paula. Why and how and pain and blood. I kind of wasn't having pain and blood. Now you're pain and blood, but yet you tell me it's better. This is ironic.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now here we're doing this again, and what happened days ago is your friend Christina, and again, an online friend who's out of the state, however, an American, right?
Yes,
an American
she is.
resident.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman has attempted to, and could be listening now.
Yeah.
She did say our live audio quality was terrible, and I've known that from the one I do with Adam, the debt talk I do with Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the recorded volume on YouTube ends up being quite
Very
good.
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to Christina?
Well, Christina, I appreciate the fact that you did take the time and look and try to listen. That's more than a lot of people have done. Well, we connected right away. She told you we connected on Listia, in so many ways. She sent me a couple of cards. We have a budding relationship,
Okay.
and I look forward to, going beyond the black soap and the shea butter with Christina.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So again, listeners, Christina represents an important milestone. There is nothing that's come before Christina. I mean, we've had likes and retweets and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Christina has really been attracted to Paul in much the same way I am, in much the same mechanisms as I have been.
Mm-hmm.
And Paula's story has kind of attached her and gotten her to speak. Have you ever talked on the phone with her?
No, not yet.
Okay,
I haven't
so
talked
we
to
just
her yet.
have some text, and then she accepted a friend request that I gave her, and
We have some
and
notes and things like that.
so listeners, please understand that I'm at risk of sounding pitiful when I say this. Christina is someone we do not know in a traditional sense. Christina has done nothing more than a couple of text comments on Facebook that can be seen by anyone who has the privileges to see Christina's comments,
Right.
which is probably a lot of people. She seems very open,
Mm-hmm.
like
She
you
is.
and like
Yeah.
me. So
Mhm.
she's probably not deliberately hiding her comments. So these comments can be read, and it is such a modest achievement, yet we are celebrating this, right?
Right.
So there's what sounds pitiful. Wow, she talked to us. This sounds pitiful.
Right.
So listeners, this is why it's not pitiful. Because if you had done what Paula and I are doing, and as a blogger, as a video blogger, YouTube, watching my stats, you know that people click and read, and I assume some of them laugh on occasion, some of them get offended on occasion, and you hear nothing. But there they are out there. You see the clicks, you see the clicks. And now all of a sudden Christina has come out and said, I'm here and I tried to listen.
Right, right.
And Paul and I are like, yeah! No, we don't high five anymore. We're
all right.
So this is, anyways, that's where we are. I think this milestone of Christina's comment, when I exaggerated, when I celebrated the way I do, I sound like I'm making a lot out of nothing, but I'm here to tell you it's not nothing. We have engaged. Paula has this struggle. She is experiencing the negative effects of a voodoo spell now for decades.
Decades, yes.
Her story attracted me, and we've been at it for less than a year, more than half a year.
Yeah, about that.
So, and all of a sudden, what do you know? Looks like we have dose. And not that it's important, but we're both Americans, and we both, she has no experience in voodoo, right? Not that you know of.
She's never said anything about it, no. She said, well, we should talk one day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we should talk someday. Now, this is a woman who doesn't know Paula other than this. And,
right.
And wouldn't you think, because of the voodoo, because of Voodoo Talk, because of how you've gone on YouTube, audio-visual, or at least audio, I think is a more powerful component of that, but you've done both. Mm-hmm. You're out there in name and in person and in voice.
Right.
And as if you were to pull that out of your online footprint and only the merchant stuff you're doing, you'd be less likely to convert Christina to any traditional interaction like a phone call. So let me put this into a question. You take Paula Brown online,
right,
and you pull out the whole voodoo thing.
Mm-hmm.
You either have the voodoo spell, but there's no evidence of it in your online profile.
Right.
Right now, there's abundant evidence.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, let's pretend you didn't have it. You're just doing the stuff that got her attention first.
Right.
With that said, do you think you would be advancing with Christina the way you are?
Well, as far as the products, that's.
Do you think you'd be having let's say there's kind of an expectation in the next month you'll talk to Christina?
Oh, yeah.
Without voodoo, you would probably not be talking to Christina in the next month. True or false?
True. I mean, false.
Which one?
Because we connected on the items that she likes that I sell. So if I never mentioned voodoo, it would be something that we would move forward on the products. But now that she knows there is voodoo, that's just an added thing.
That's just an added.
Right,
so this is not a prerequisite to have a phone conversation with her. However, it certainly humbles you.
Oh, yeah.
And makes you, I think, because of these conversations, because of what you did on your own on YouTube, you become a little more human, a little warmer. Your Paula Brown warmth that people experience and they've known of you since you were a Nina, that became available to her and then somehow more attractive than if you were just selling black soap.
Right, yeah.
You are saying yes.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, why was it the way I asked the question? Where was the struggle?
Maybe it was because, like if she didn't know about the voodoo, we like each other on the basis of other things. We're both beaters. We like beads. We are jewelry making people. We like the black soap. You know what I'm saying?
So this is added.
Right.
All right. So listeners, please understand that Paula has what is rare online, and that is this digital persona and an in-person traditional interaction that's just seamless. The way I experienced it first is that we had a chat via text, and it was happening on a Facebook post, and this was a chat in public, which I am equally, for me, Google Hangouts, which is also Google Talk, that's one-to-one. That text is not public. Twitter is, Facebook comments are, Facebook message isn't. I am equally comfortable from one to the other, and I do know that other people prefer the one-to-one environment that is not public, and they're more comfortable with that. And all of a sudden, so this was the first evidence with Paula that said, wow, she's equally comfortable knowing her text can be seen by others.
Right.
Because we do Google Talk also, right? I don't know what we have that's one. Oh, Facebook Message.
Right.
So all of a sudden there's
yeah.
a Facebook Message, and Paula and I would chat on Facebook or on the phone. We know this is not be witnessed by others. It's not out there for the public. Now all of a sudden there's text online, and now this conversation here.
Right.
Paula is Paula in a very seamless way across modern media and traditional manners. So what I'm trying to do is kind of do a commercial for Paula. So if you're considering talking to Paula, listen to me, middle-aged American. You will not regret it.
Right.
All right. This woman has certain warmth that we were talking about Allen Iverson. To me, I think, I mean, he's a celebrity. He's a superstar. So you would never get access to the guy like that. But I really believed if I was his friend that I would like Allen Iverson in the way that I like you. I just think there's this, he's got that West Philadelphia, Virginia, what, man? That's not real attractive in some ways. It's very confrontational in others. But God, I just look at the personality inside that man, and I just think there's warmth. There's a genuine, kind person. Right. And I'm sorry if that Allen Iverson comparison gets lost on Paula, but it's fresh and it's a personality that came to mind. But certainly Oprah. I'm going to try to switch into white people because I just did Allen and Oprah. What do you know? I think Michael Moore has this, but he's so intellectual and confrontational that it gets buried. I think Ellen DeGeneres has this.
Okay.
You agree?
Yes, I do.
Say more. What is it? Describe it. So Oprah and Ellen DeGeneres have something that's similar.
Right. I don't know. It's hard, because it's like when Ellen, she has a what do you call it, DJ, and she, the way she dances into her program, like nobody else does that. You know what I'm saying? And it's so joyful. It's so happy. Everybody in the audience is partaking. Yeah. And you don't really see that. Yeah. So that's something that's very unique. So
Allen, and that's how Paula describes Allen. And I see it in Oprah and describe it this way. That I just see her guests light up. I see their guests Oprah's guests somehow feel safe in a very unsafe environment. I've seen her do adults who have survived pedophilia. Yeah. Holding pictures of themselves when they were the last time they could remember before this target of a sexual predator took over their lives. They're doing this in public on Oprah's show. Right. And she has this ability, this warmth to reassure people. So if I sound like I'm exaggerating that Paula is like Oprah, I probably am, right? You don't want to be like Oprah, but there is a warmth with Oprah that exists in this woman here. And with Ellen DeGeneres, none of you, listeners, you can't regret reaching out to contact Oprah. Paula! So anyways, that's kind of what I wanted to say. Okay, I think that's where we are. I think this engagement, again, if I didn't say this again, this humble thing of me saying, hey, I'm not really qualified in this voodoo stuff. Yeah. Paula credits me as being qualified as a friend. She also concedes I'm not qualified in voodoo. We need help. Yes. We have advanced, and quite honestly, I'm here to say, I'm kind of at my limit. I don't know what other questions to ask that I haven't asked. I'm like, someone give me some note cards. I don't know what to do. But I do know that this thing from Christina, though very small, in some ways, to us, it's very big.
Right. It's a beginning. Maybe it's a new door opening, a new sunshine coming in,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So unlike this analogy where you go out on thin ice, did you see there's this town called Geneva, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
They have this habit of their winter festivals. They park on the lake.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, it sounded like a good idea. The lake thought. The lake thought. And like 50 cars went into the lake.
Oh, get out of
no,
here.
no kidding.
Yeah.
I called my mother. My mother's from Wisconsin. She's in Madison. I said, Mother, you're a Wisconsin kid. Even though she raised she was a mother, all her motherly life was in Ohio.
Right.
I left this. I haven't talked to her since. I said, Mother, you're a mother. You're a woman. You're a competent person. You're a Wisconsin. You are a grandmother and now a great-grandmother. Why didn't they call you? So stupid. So anyways,
right.
Sometimes going out on thin ice is a mistake. And sometimes the lake is solid, or a drill can tell you that it's 3 foot thick, and it just doesn't matter. You could herd animals across the lake, and it's fine.
Right.
This was a case where it was wrong. So with this thin ice analogy, we want more people to come out and what they sense is thin ice.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners, what I'm trying to reassure you is that the lake is frozen solid.
Yes, it is.
Paula has a sense of warmth. You will not regret it. Christina has kind of advanced in this sort of light, fun way.
Mm-hmm.
I have had wonderful conversations with Voodoo Talk, and I believe that these magic of the internet, that it can do for us what we want it to do if we're willing to take some chances. That chance might feel like you're coming out on the thin ice of Lake Geneva in a Bronco. There were trucks. This is a small town. Probably trucks with gun racks falling through the lake. But I'm telling you, this is not Lake Geneva, winter 2016. This is solid ice. You will not regret this. And quite honestly, we're sort of stalled without additional help. Christina might engage with us and maybe some comments over the next month, and then Paul and I can kind of pull from her, and maybe we can give some maybe she can kind of give us direction where to go, listen a little bit. Maybe others will give us some text so that we can, that can kind of be my note cards to decide where to go, and maybe other people will engage by voice.
Yes.
But I think that's where we are. I think, and we're sort of at the end, right, Paula? When do we have to get out of here?
1:30.
Yeah, so we're done.
Okay.
What else?
That's about it. You can find me on Facebook, lowercase Paula Brown 2, the numeral 2 at the end. Please, if you have any information, would you please contact Tom Duty or myself, and let's get this done. Let's get on with life. Let's go and do the damn thing.
Contact. I want to be more specific by being less specific. That means get an anonymous profile on Twitter and call it Roz Fiend. He's one of the trolls that's harassed me.
Oh, yeah.
So that's already taken. You don't want that one. Call yourself something.
Right.
Give him a name.
Call yourself Starshine.
Call yourself Starshine.
And tweet me, message me, direct me.
Ballmer. Ballmer is the tennis nickname of Richie Tenenbaum in Wes Anderson's movie, and my wife and I are becoming fanatic Wes Anderson fans. Ballmer, or what's the other name?
Starshine.
Or just any name. Get out an anonymous profile. Give us some thoughts.
We need you to shout
the
out,
The F word is fine.
Ciao.
Oh, wait, we're not ready for ciao. I wanted to say one other thing.
What else you wanted to say, Tom?
Oh, Paula, I detected something in Paula's YouTube channel. When you go to Paula's YouTube channel, there's this opportunity Google gives you for links that take you to other places you might want to go. Since this is in Google, a natural place for surfers like me to navigate is to Google YouTube's channel. And when you get to Paula's, it's sort of a dead end. Mine is not a dead end. I am going to show Paula how to do that right now out in this library cafe. So some of you who are surfers on YouTube, you notice on the what Facebook calls a headline photo, there are some links. Paula doesn't have any links, but I promise you, she's not leaving this library today without those links. And it's going to be, I think you have a website you probably want. You have like an opportunity for 4, but not anymore. So she will have her website. She'll have her Facebook profile, which I know she likes to use.
Yes.
And then some of her online merchants. So there will be ways to navigate and get to Paula in other places.
Good, great. Thank you, Tom.
This has been Tom Duty, Middle-Aged American Living. This is kind of fun. I don't think we've done this before. Living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep.
Thank you, Father God, for providing this space, this beautiful space. And we keep to trust in you and know that we will get help.
And this beautiful space. We are Brooklyn Central Library, Grand Army Plaza, New York City. And this is the Levy is the Levy or Levy is the family name, but there's a man and a woman. They are deceased, and they gave a pile of money for this wonderful space that Paula has complimented. Sandra and
Shelby
Levy.
Yeah.
And they made this place a reality, and it's been great for us. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao, ciao. Okay.